Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana, and I am live in my Beehive studio this morning. Today is the start of the Stampin' Up year. It's kind of like Happy New Year happened last night, and we start a new Stampin' Up year, which maybe is not significant to you, but it is to me because it's kind of like a reset of the whole year. We start over from day one to earn any rewards and anything like that. So it is a reset in my mind, and so it's kind of a cool day. Yesterday I released my leaf tutorial. I will grab my leaves afterwards. I'll show them at the end. I think they're pretty cool because there's two sizes of boxes. So if you're looking to earn one of my tutorials for free, all you need to do is place a $15 order in my Stampin' Up store or more, and I will send you a tutorial of your choosing, which could be the leaf tutorial if you wanted that. So today is Casing Tuesday, and that's when we take a card of a catalog and we give it a makeover. Now you can make it over as much as you like. If you like it, you can recreate it. So that is actually, today I took the card and I just did a little bit of a makeover. I didn't do too much. I was really busy yesterday getting that leaf tutorial up and some other things, and so I was like, what am I gonna do? And I looked at the card and I'm like, I like it, but I want to tweak it. So this gave me an opportunity to pull out my bundle, which I hadn't used yet, and just play with it. And I tell you that if you're in a rush to make cards, this is the bundle for you. It is so gorgeous. The die, I'll show you in a second. The die has all these little edge pieces on it, so you don't have to layer anything up. The paper is just gorgeous scenic paper on one side and metallic accents on the other side, so it's really, really pretty. So you're going to love that. I'm going to show you the card that we're going to make over first. Here it is. So look at that. I mean, it looks like there's a lot to it, but basically it's the paper that's been die cut, and then I guess they must have embossed the greeting on there. And what else? Yeah, so just the conjunction of the paper being very pretty but yet subtle, and then those little elements that are already on the die just creates that nice look. Now that blue ribbon right there is back ordered right now, but it's not a problem. I think I'm not sure if it's still orderable. Would have to go look. But I used a different ribbon because I was like, I didn't want to have a problem with back orders if you wanted to do something right now. I used the silver metallic edge ribbon, which I think looks just as nice, and it would look nice with all of the papers in that suite. Here is the sketch. So it's a very simple sketch, but I like simple because it's very easy if you're a beginner. So that's kind of just the idea of the dimensions that you can work with. And I did slightly different dimensions, so you'll find those on my blog. Okay, so let's pop over. Good morning to everyone who's joined me. And I'm gonna change my view right here. Oh, I'm off kilter a little bit, aren't I? Let's see. Let me push this in here. Okay, so here is my card, and it does look a little bit similar to the card in the catalog. So here's the card in the catalog, which was horizontal, and I did mine in the vertical or portrait mode. I really actually like my ribbon. I think it pops a little better than that blue ribbon because it's got that silver edge. I kind of like that. So sometimes when you give it a little bit of a shift, you actually improve upon the card or I like my card. The designer did an excellent job, but I like my card too, so I'm happy with the way it turned out. So let me show you how I made it. Okay, so here is the Frosted Foliage Bundle. So originally I was just going to get the dies because the dies are so cool, But then I was like, I want that nice big greeting to be able to stamp on the paper. So then, yeah, I got the bundle. But when you buy the bundle, you can save 10%. So that's always a nice thing. So if you just want the dies, they're called the Frosted Frames dies, and there are 6 of them. This one here has all the pieces attached. You can layer it with this piece right here if you like, or you could take this piece and there's these other pieces that you can use to layer behind it. So it's kind of fun. You can play with it a little bit. Then we have, this paper is just gorgeous. And let me just show you this. So it's got all of these different scenes, these pretty scenes on the one side. So they're very nice, kind of wintry scenes. And they're not overpowering. And that's a really neat thing, because since they're not overpowering, you can stamp things right on them. And they look awesome. Now this one's a dark one, so you'd probably want to do like white stamping or light embossing, like a white type of embossing. So they're very pretty. So on the one side they've got those natural scenes, and on the back side we've got these gorgeous silver and white metallic papers. So this paper is just awesome. It's I don't know what to tell you. Like, it is really good if you don't have a lot of time, because you can save yourself a lot of time. All right, so I'm going to take the same paper that I had for my card, and we're going to start with that. So I'll need my Big Shot, and I'll bring that in, and I'm going to need that die. So when I was deciding where do I put this, like if I put this right here, then I definitely will have to do some white embossing. So I chose a spot on my die that had some blank space. So that's why I ended up here in this top corner. And so just make sure it's still all the way on the card. So it has that little piece down here of that branch. And then later on, I can use the rest of this paper. Where is my... I brought over my die cutting machine, but I didn't bring over my top plate. Let me grab that. So then I can use the rest of the paper later on for the metallic piece, or maybe I just need a little branch piece. Let me run this back through the other way. That way I'll make sure everything cuts through nicely. Okay, let's peel this off. So there is that. And then I'm just going to peel this carefully, because all these little pieces, they want to kind of stick together. And there's a few little places right here that kind of want to have little die cut pieces in them, but there it is. Isn't that easy? Very easy to cut that. All right, and then we've got, let me add a little bit of light here. It's a very dark day here today. So this is that stamp sending you a little U-tiled sheer, and I tried different colors, and Pretty Peacock was nice, but it was a little dark. But this is Seaside Spray. It's one of our new in colors this year, and it's just the perfect, you can see right here, it's just the perfect darkness for my cards. So I'm just going to stamp this kind of centered onto my piece like that. Isn't that pretty? And you know, I did two things. I cut this out and I stamped on it, and I'm already like mostly done my card, right? So that's kind of cool. So the one thing is, I want to pop this up on dimensionals, and since this is light paper, I want to support the back. So I cut a little piece of thick Whisper White cardstock, and it's approximately 2 3/4 inches by 3 inches, but just a little shy of that, because this is almost dead on 2 3/4 by 3 inches, this rectangle. So I cut it just a little bit under that, and I'm going to attach it with a little snail. If I can use my snail properly. So now I just need to make sure I can just see a little bit of the silver edge. Uh-oh. Hope I don't have too much sticking out. Okay. It's pretty good. I see like a little bit of white edge right there. I didn't do a good job of putting it on straight, but it's right there on the edge, so I really barely can even see that little white edge. It kind of just looks like the end of the rectangle. So what I'm going to do while I have this out here is I'm just going to pop some dimensionals onto the corners of this piece so that I have it ready to go. And I'm also going to put a dimensional right here on this side. And it wanted to give me 2 dimensionals, so I'm going to stick one in the center. All right, so this piece is ready to go on here. Now I need a card base, so I'm going to use gray granite. This piece was 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it in half at the 4 1/4 inch mark. Smooth that down. I also want to add a little piece of vellum. You can see it right in the back. It's just a little bit of detail. So I'm going to hide the adhesive. Vellum is see-through, right? So you have to be kind of careful. This has kind of got a glow to it. Moving my light out of the way a little bit so it doesn't blind us in the corner here. So this piece of vellum is 5 1/4 inches by 1 inch, and I want to hide my adhesive behind the ribbon. So I'm just going to take my snail again, and I'm going to run my adhesive dead on in the center. So it will be there. You can kind of see it now. It's kind of a stripe down the center, but it's going to be hidden by the ribbon. So I'm just going to, this is about maybe 5/8 of an inch from the side. I'm just kind of mimicking what I've got here. So put that about 5/8, make sure it's straight. Okay, and then I'm going to come in with my ribbon, the one that still has ribbon on the roll. And then I'm going to just come through here like that. I'm going to grab my ribbon cutting scissors and just make sure I have enough ribbon to tie. And so I'm going to bring this down here. And I'll tie my first knot and get it settled, and then I'm going to clamp it with my locking tweezers so that I can get that second knot. And now you're going to need to play with this a little bit if you want your knot to go in the same direction, or your ends of your knot to go in the same direction. So what I always do is, if I did it like this, my knot is going to run up and down. So I kind of test. No, that's not what I want. So let me do this way. If I do this way, then my ends are going to go the right way. So now you can come in and tighten this so that I've got my ends running this way, because you can tie it either way if you want it to go up and down, but I want my ends to kind of stick down here like that. So now I'm just going to move my knot down a little bit so it's a little closer to the bottom, maybe up a little bit. Okay. All right, so now all I need to do is add this piece onto here. Just make sure it looks good where it's sitting at. So now just remove these little backings. And that piece of cardstock we added before really is going to help make it stabilize it a little bit, because otherwise it would have been a little bit too flimsy. These pieces right here are not supported, but that's okay because I want them to kind of bend up and down and be free flowing. So now I just need to make sure that all my foliage pieces are on there. I want to make it centered and I want to make it straight. So that looks pretty good. That over just a wee bit. All right, and then you can come in and I would just angle cut the ribbon just a little bit. And there is your card. And this card is pretty easy, but you can see how much detail there is on it because of that paper and the die cut. So, you know, if you're making these cards, this card wouldn't take that long from start to finish, and yet it looks like pretty amazing. So I wanted to show you on the same page, there's a lot of these types of cards because you just use a big whisper white piece, or you like stamp on the paper. But most of these cards on this page here in the holiday catalog are not that hard to make. So I really like that this suite for making faster cards. But I really, in particular, I like this card. If you like it in the horizontal version, that's nice too. And remember, you can use the white ribbon, which I actually think makes the card pop a little bit more than the Seaside Spray ribbon. It's the metallic ribbon that's on back order right now, but I think it looks just as nice with the metallic ribbon. So what do you think? Do you like it? I know my thing is crooked. Do you like it with the metallic ribbon, or do you like the Seaside Spray? I think, let me see if I have some of my Seaside Spray ribbon here handy. I know I bought some. Oh, here it is. Let me pull it open. I actually haven't used it yet. I didn't want to use it today because I hate using things that are on back order because I always feel bad. So it is very pretty, but I actually think the white ribbon would pop a little bit better than if I use this ribbon, maybe for this particular card because it's got so much blue in it already. So anyway, just some thoughts about differences in the ribbon. And yeah, Christy, the paper is so awesome. I really recommend it if you are wanting to try some, you know, stamping on that nature paper, or that back side of that paper. Where did I stick it? The back side. See, okay, so I'm gonna take this right here. See, I cut this hole out of it. So now you can have a strip right here and a strip on this side here that's metallic, and you can put that on a card. So you can really use up those paper scraps well, because these are so neutral on the back. So I really like that. I think it's going to be really useful paper, and you could use it for anniversaries too, or weddings. So it's pretty cool. All right, guys. Well, I have one more Casing Tuesday before I head up to Canada to visit our son. He is studying up in Canada, and we are going to visit him for Canadian Thanksgiving. And for those of you who don't know when that is over Columbus Day. Columbus Day and Canadian Thanksgiving are the same day. So we will be up there, and we will actually be traveling back on that Tuesday. So I will be here this Tuesday, but I won't be here next Tuesday. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me this morning. If you want to join us for Casing Tuesday, make sure you look down below and click on our Facebook group and ask to join. And then you can see what everyone else did with this card and see what kind of makeover they give it. The two cards that are posted already before me this morning were different. So that's great to see that, you know, you can take a card and use it and change it up. And you can join us. We would love to see your cards. So please make sure, if you're interested in joining a group of stampers that puts out cards each week, you are welcome to join us. Oh, and I was going to show you my leaf tutorial real quick, my leaf project. Let me just grab that real quick. All right, so here is the actual leaf. Isn't it cute? And you know, the kisses, they don't fall out. They're held in there. So this is just like a little fall leaf. And it's pretty plain on its own, but if you put it in a little box, isn't that cute? And add a little tag. This is the braided linen trim. So you add that, and that's pretty cute. But it's even cuter if you have friends. So you can put 3 in a box, and I don't know if you can see this very well, but the box is actually partitioned. So it looks really professional, and it looks like a really nice gift. If you have this like with the 3 leaves in it, it doesn't look like you handmade it. So people are like, oh, I didn't know Hershey's puts out things in little frames. But no, you make that. And so that's really cool. So if you want to earn that for free, just place an order with me that is over $15, and then you can choose it or one of my other tutorials that I have out there. So I hope you guys have a great week. I have no clue what I'm going to do for the rest of the week, but I will have a tutorial for the later on this week. It's a little crazy, the start of the Stampin' Up year, so I have some things to take care of, but I'm going to do something this week. You will see, and just check out my blog for that. All right, guys, have a great week, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.